Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is my laptop's camera. I got the good camera in flux. We're rearranging the office. We're doing some cool stuff around here, so forgive me. Audio might not be as crisp and as clear, but hopefully the content still reaches you and helps you in some way. I want to talk about buyers specifically in 2023. Things you should be doing, things you shouldn't be doing. I'll talk about the $100 billion proposed bill. That would be $25,000 grants to first generational home buyers. I'll talk about some things that buyers should be excited about for Q3 and Q4 in 2023. And as always, I welcome any and all questions, comments, concerns about real estate, about mortgage. Even if you want to talk about the Sacramento Kings, we can talk about that as well. Let's get started by answering this question. Please, if you're on this live, ask your questions live. If you're catching on a replay, leave a comment below. I do my best to get in there and respond to as many as possible, especially when they're great specific questions like this one from Nicole Jansen. If I want to purchase a home with an ADU, I can now use rental income. Is there an income limit? The guidelines are pretty clear on this one, Nicole. The only limit you're going to run into is that rental income can't be more than 30% of your total income. So you couldn't have $6,000 in personal income and have rental income of $3,000, right? Yeah, that would be 33%. 3,000 in rental, 6,000 yours. Man, it's Monday. Got the coffee in me, but math still sometimes takes a while to click on. That's really the only income limit. But it is good news that with an ADU unit, you're going to be able to use 75% of that future rental income to help you qualify for that home purchase. As they become more and more popular in California, I know of thousands that are being built, right? So this is going to be something that becomes commonplace in the future. For now, not all properties have them, so it's not as common in the lending world, but it's common enough to where Fannie and Freddie said, hey, we're going to start using this. I'm not sure if it was a live or if I made a long form video, but I do have a video on this where I think I pulled up Fannie and Freddie's guideline and kind of walked through that. Any specific questions you have, feel free to reach out. We're licensed in 48 states. Why did I say 40? Greatmortgagebroker.com is the best way to get in touch with my team. And like all things mortgage and real estate, everybody's specific scenario is going to be different. So thanks for asking the question, Nicole. Happy to help. And if you want to connect with us, greatmortgagebroker.com. Ryan Lundquist, great to see you. Anybody who doesn't follow Ryan, Sacramento Appraisal Blog.com, some of the best stuff out there when it comes to real estate statistics and kind of a real-time finger on the pulse look at the real estate market from a stats perspective. Little bit of Ryan's thoughts behind it, but like Ryan says, and I agree with, right? Like stats are stats. You got to be unemotional about them. You got to just say, listen, mortgage applications are down. That means demand is down. Less people are looking to buy. I can sugarcoat it or talk about it however I want, but numbers don't lie. So with that in mind, Ryan, purchase applications are down the last couple of weeks, which is no surprise, right? Like rates tick up to 7. We expect a little bit of softening, seasonality wise. There's less buyers in the market in July and August than there were in May and June. But with that being said, there still is enough on the demand side to make it feel competitive. I had a conversation with a real estate agent over this weekend. We must be 10 offers in. And this client of ours is making good offers, right? Looking for a specific product that happens to be at a price point that's competitive, But still, like, it's tough out there. It's tough out there for buyers because although the demand is down, supply is also down. And I have pretty strong thoughts around what the second half of this year is going to hold. I think that there's no event that's going to bring a bunch of supply to the market, but as stuff starts to sit on the market longer, inventory numbers will slowly creep up. As buyers in Q3 and Q4, this is what I alluded to in the beginning, something to look forward to, you're going to be in a position to ask for seller credits. You're going to be in a position where it's not going to be as competitive as we saw it during the first half of the year. Like, I can guarantee you that. And so as a buyer, if you were sidelined because you were frustrated, if you were sidelined because you were, thinking to yourself, maybe now's not the right time, it makes sense to keep your eyes open during Q3 and Q4. And I actually had this conversation with a client. I'll share it here. A client that said, we're going to take a break. Maybe next year we'll buy a house. Well qualified. They could buy today if they wanted to. Decided now wasn't the time. And I said, all good. What I encourage you to do is continue to keep an eye on the real estate market. Keep an eye on what's happening within your specific buy box. You're going to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this zip code with these price parameters, which translates to this mortgage payment. There's nothing that excites them right now, but if they keep their eyes open and come August, September, things start to soften up. And now all of a sudden, sellers have something on the market for 26 days, willing to take 20,000 less, willing to offer a concession that might help you buy the rate down into the 5s. Things like that start to happen. You want to be ready. And that's kind of my overarching message to home buyers in 2023. Even if you're not necessarily in a position where you have to buy in the next month, that's a whole nother topic, right? It's like, I got a job relocation, going through a divorce. People that are like have to buy in the next 30 days are one subset. The other subset where like, hey, I really want to become a homeowner. I've got myself fully pre-approved. What my budget looks like and what's currently out there on the market, it's not syncing up. Cool. I respect that, but don't go into hiding. Don't forget about looking at the real estate market, looking at real estate, and at least knowing what a good deal looks like to you, whether you're an investor or you're a first-time home buyer or buying an owner-occupied. Be able to answer that question. I'm waiting for the market to change. I'm waiting for it to get better. Okay, how much better? What does better mean? Are you waiting for a 40% decline in prices? Are you waiting for 4.5% interest rates? If you're a dreamer, you're a dreamer. Then it's another story. But if you got really clear, and this is where most people aren't going to do the work, but they should, it's just like anything else in life. The clearer you are about a goal, the easier it is to hit it. I want to buy a 3-bedroom, 2-bath in this neighborhood, and I really can't, I can't get past $3,200 a month as a payment. That's just my comfort zone. Cool. Now we know what we're looking for. If you just say, I want it to get better, you're going to be like a lot of people that have been waiting since 2017 for things to get better. But if you know how much better, what it looks like for you, then when it comes, you'll recognize it, right? In November of last year, deals were literally sprouting up every single day. And I was excited. I was talking to buyers. We're putting together 2-1 buy downs, 3-2-1 buy downs, having starting interest rates of 2.875. Sweet deals to be had. Seller credits of $50,000, $75,000. Wild. right? I know people are like, that's not possible. You can't have a $75,000 seller credit. Yeah, you can if you're buying, a $1.5 million property, but that's a different story. So my whole point is stay ready, because you don't want to be getting ready to move on a good deal. When it comes up, you want to stay ready. You want to be ready for when that opportunity comes. Low demand and low supply have met in today's housing market. It's a weird dynamic. Totally agree, Ryan. And I think that, like, I don't know if it's your graphic or Logan or somebody else I love and respect, but I saw a graphic where, like, some feel like our boy Jay Powell at the Feds kind of like got us to this level place where demand and supply have in some respects leveled off, right? If we had more demand, if we had 5% interest rates, the market would be a disaster. There'd be 20 offers on every house. If we had, more supply than we currently have with the amount of demand we have, prices would no doubt be coming down 10, 15, 20%, depending on how much supply we got. But we're in this weird place where low demand and low supply have met. And what happens is prices remain flat. It is a weird dynamic. Less sales, less demand, but also less supply, meaning, there's no give in prices, which I know is what people want. Flash of light, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. As a buyer, is paying the agent commission directly by putting in extra money acceptable in order to buy down the rate with a seller credit? And what is the max seller credit for a rate buy down? Max seller credit for a rate buy down is going to vary on product, and it's going to vary based on investment property. In some cases on conventional, it varies by down payment. I actually made a video, and if you type in Matt the Mortgage Guy seller credit, it'll probably come up, but I'll give you a quick rundown. FHA is 6%. So you can get up to 6% of seller credit to be used for paying the rate down, to be used for paying your closing costs. If you're getting that big of a credit, you're probably in a position where you can do like a 2-1 buy down, or at the very least a 1-0 buy down and pay all the closing costs. If you're a buyer and you're not paying attention to buy downs, you should be. Not super prevalent right now, July, but I promise you over the next 3 to 6 months, we are going to see a high level of buy downs. Builders already have it figured out. Builders offer a buy down to get a buyer into a mortgage that they like and they can afford. Resale sellers haven't had to because there's been enough demand. But once their house sits for 21 or 28 days, rest assured, they'll listen to creative ways to make the mortgage work for a buyer, which honestly, it doesn't get better than the 2-1 buy down. If you don't know about 2-1 temporary buy downs, I got videos on that too. 900 videos on this channel, all for you. Just Google buy down, rate buy down, Matt the Mortgage Guy, whatever. See what comes up. Cruz Delgado, how much do you need in reserves for a $400K home? If you're buying an owner-occupied home, most of the times you don't need reserves. If you're buying an investment property, there's going to be a certain number of reserves required based on how many investment properties you own. But if you're doing an FHA deal and you're putting 3.5% down, you're not going to be required to have reserves in most cases. If you're buying with a conventional loan with 3 or 5% down, you're not going to need them, which doesn't mean that I think you shouldn't have them, right? You should have some reserves, some money in the bank. Inevitably, being a homeowner is not all sunshine and rainbows. Hot water heater might go out. You might need a roof repair. So I think what most home buyers should do is have a couple months minimum of runway, and then you close a loan August 6th. You don't have a mortgage payment until October 1st. Allow those 7 weeks to build back up any reserves you depleted with the down payment and whatnot, as much of it as you can, so that you do have a little bit of cushion. Because last thing you want is to have a major thing come up that you need to take care of, and then you go put it on a credit card or something. Don't do that. Mr. Ryan Lundquist, it would be great if we had a normal number of listings to put more downward pressure on prices. Nothing wrong with affordability and more buyers and sellers being able to participate. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100%. And it's just a matter of where is it going to come from? It certainly would be welcome and refreshing for the real estate market, Ryan. It's just I don't know where they're going to come from. I can volunteer to pay agent commissions in exchange for a bigger seller credit, right? I'll confirm, flash of light, because as much as I want to give an answer, if I haven't personally done it and I don't know for sure, I'm not going to answer you. So let me know how to get you the answer. If you want to shoot me a quick email, team@mtmg.com, and just say, just dropping this here to get an answer for whether I can pay an agent commission to get a larger seller credit. I've never seen it structured like that, which lends me to believe that if I haven't seen it with the thousands of loans we've done, then it might not be a thing. But we'll check into it, man. I appreciate the questions. So least I can do is go out there and find you the answer. I'm looking for this $100 billion thing that was recently announced. Biden's Down Payment Towards Equity Act. $100 billion bill, which would give 4 million people $25,000. I don't know if I have the energy to give the proper rant here, but I really like how my buddy Mike Zuber did it at a meetup we had last week. How terrible of an idea this is. Beyond terrible. The terriblest of ideas. To inject a lot of demand. Could you imagine $25,000 to 4 million people? Inject 4 million new buyers into a market that's already disastrously unhealthy, and where we need more than anything in the world more listings. We don't need more buyers. This would cause 10-15% uptick in pricing across the board. That's how this works. You put more demand into a market and you don't add any supply, prices go up. There's been some bad ideas proposed before. This would have to rank up there. It's probably not bad to say that Cal HFA, if given the chance to go back and do over the California Dream for All, they would do it different. It caused mayhem in a lot of California markets. Sacramento saw 11% of that California Dream for All money utilized in Sacramento, which, 11% of those funds, when we're only making up 4% of the state's population, is a big deal. If they could go over and do it over again, they would do it better. Trust me. I know some people that would agree to that. So So if something like this, let me see if I can show this. Oh, it's this one. Down payment towards Equity Act could get you $25,000 for your first home. Sounds great, right? More economically disadvantaged renters. Yeah, give the renters 25 dimes. It, if it jams up home prices by 50 grand, all good. $25,000 in funding given at closing. Mortgage closing costs, mortgage down payments, reduce the interest rate. To qualify, you got to have less than 100. I mean, reintroduced June of 2023. Here's the thing. I love first-time home buyers. I love first-generational home buyers. This is not going to help them. It's going to drive up home prices. It'll get them into a home. And it might encourage some that quite honestly aren't ready to jump into a payment that's more than they can afford. And then they've got no skin in the game. $25,000 grant takes care of that. And once the big pump from all the demand goes away and the housing market retracts back to normal and pulls back that 10 or 15%, now they're in a position where they can't refinance and, their payments are hard to make. And the last thing you want is to say, hey, I want to help somebody get on the property ladder, but just put them on the steps 1 or 2 and then push them off, right? Have them foreclose and be in a worse position when they started. So bad idea, in my humble opinion. That's that's all I'm gonna say about that. HD Chillin'. Thanks for the super chat. It's been a while since I got me a super chat, man. I appreciate that little $5. Just over here doing free work. Appreciate you throwing the link in at me. What do you think of using Rocket Mortgage for first-time home buyers? I'm going to admit before I even answer that I'm extremely biased and never been a fan of Rocket Mortgage. Been in the mortgage game for 10 years. Actually had some experiences back in 2018 where I brokered a couple deals their way. The problem I have with Rocket Mortgage is that when you're, like in your case, you're asking about first-time home buyers. Biggest financial decision of your life. I was going to say young life, but first-time home buyers can be 55, 57, 72. Biggest financial decision for most people of their whole life. Rocket Mortgage is a great marketing company. Rocket Mortgage is a great big sales machine. What Rocket Mortgage doesn't have, in my opinion, is high-level advisors that can truly help you figure out a way to structure a mortgage that makes sense. If you're a 23-year-old kid working in a call center for Rocket Mortgage, I know for 100% certainty you are reading off of a script and your intention is to close a loan. You're not worried about reputation. You're not worried about the future wellness of the specific client, who, if set up correctly, who, if treated correctly, you would have future business in terms of referrals, in terms of refinance. But the big marketing machine is just going to pour new leads on you. You have no incentive to build relationships, really do any high level advising, and really do right by anybody, because the machine's just going to feed you more leads. And so what I've seen, HD Chillin, is really, really bad advice from Rocket Mortgage. And, sometimes mortgage can be simple. Vast majority of the time, it's not just plug in 30-year fixed rate mortgage. It's like, let's talk about your finances. Let's see if this home you're going to buy, you have the ability to pay $512 with a $12,000 seller credit. We'll structure a 2-1 buy down for you. What that's going to do is going to save you $600 in month one, in year one, $300 in year two. And then if by year three we haven't refinanced yet, if rates haven't come down and followed inflation, you're still stuck in a fixed rate product years 2 through 30. But this will really help you kind of ease yourself into home ownership, right? Like that high level advising is not going on. And to the opposite extreme, they're incentivized by meeting sales numbers. I know somebody who gives me data on refinance by credit score, by loan type. And the most important to me is the spread between current mortgage and new mortgage. Rocket Mortgage, again, numbers don't lie. If they do more cash out refinance for sub 660 credit score, where the spread between current mortgage and new mortgage is higher, 3% plus than any other outfit out there, to me, it's a clear, crystal clear indication that they're selling. They're not advising. And I looked at our 91% purchase volume through the first half of the year, just my team. Every single one of the refinances we did was a needs-based refinance. People aren't refinancing unless they need to. Some of them own something free and clear. Sure, we'll take cash out and it's going to be invested in a business or something like that. Going through a divorce, we need to refinance. We need to, split this capital. The refinances that I know are taking place at Rocket Mortgage are people being sold. I'll give you an example. I literally know people on the inside that tell me what the scripts are. Okay, you got a Home Depot card, $8,000. What's the rate on that one? Ooh, 16.9. What about your Visa? $12,000 balance. A 19.9%. All right, your Chevron card, $2,500. That one's at 23%. Go through that list. All right, Mr. or Mrs. Customer, we're going to pay off $32,000 in credit card debt. I know you currently have a 3% mortgage rate, but with the refinance, we're going to refinance you up to 6.99 from that 3%. I know it sounds like a big jump, but blended rate with these other debts included, blended rate you're paying right now is 8.2. I'm taking you down from an 8.2 to a 6.99. You want me to send over the disclosures? We get that signed and started today? That's not me. That'll never be me. And anybody who does it, I don't know how you sleep at night. Create a plan to pay off the $32,000 in credit card debt. Do not touch the 3% first. We got some home equity line of credit products. There's other scenarios where they only owe 100 and we're trying to take out 150 to pay off a whole swath where it makes sense. But those type of refinance $400,000 in mortgage debt to pay off $32,000 in credit card debt, shame on you, Rocket. Shame on you. All right, TED Talk over. Thanks for asking the question, HD Chillin. This is why I love Q&A. Have no idea where it's going, but you just awoke in me some passion. I mean, I talk to people every single day. I talk to home buyers, homeowners, people that have real struggles, people that have family emergencies and kids and work, cutbacks and all kinds of real life stuff. And for somebody to go out there and sell them on something they weren't looking for, costing their financial future, no good. All right, Kevin Hawthorne, I see you, buddy. Good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Thanks for joining. I'm going to hop off here soon. If anybody has any other questions, or if you want to be like HD Chillin and just throw up the super chat, much appreciated. I love this stuff. So if you got questions for me, you want to connect me and my team to get started, you can go check me out at mtmg.com. Check out the channel for other videos. If you want to get started, you're like, hey, I'm looking to get pre-approved in Tennessee and Texas and Florida and Colorado, greatmortgagebroker.com. Even if it's a California deal, just go to greatmortgagebroker.com. Know that once you fill out those 6 fields, here's my name, here's the price point, here's my phone number and email, we're going to reach out to you. It's going to be me or Michelle if it's in California. If it's Texas, Florida, Tennessee, it's probably going to be Connor. If it's another state, probably going to connect you with Adam. But my team is going to make sure that you get the highest level advising in a market that demands it, right? So thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. If anything else comes up, feel free to reach out, leave comments down below. All the things. Like, comment, subscribe, share. Do the stuff. Thanks for watching. Till next time, we're going to see.